LUTFF is a group of passionate music lovers with a special format. As part of our cultural heritage, we salute film legends, shairs, singers, actors, and directors by telling their life story through their songs. To start with, I would invite Honorable Member of CSOI, Mr. Pradeep Nagpal, and the group leader, Mr. Ajay Mankotia, and Madam Neelam Kohli, to honor with a bouquet of flowers from CSOI. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ajay, sir. Now, Mr. Ajay, the stage is handed over to you for further proceedings, please. Thank you.
जो खूबसूरत कोई अपना हम सफर होता.
Good evening and welcome to this tribute by LUTFF to one of the most loved and debonair personalities of Hindi cinema. Through the years, we've seen Dev Anand in so many forms. So let's see who we are going to meet this evening as Hum Dono share his life story through his songs. The Jewel Thief, The Gambler, The Munimji, A Prem Pujari, The Guide, or the adorable CID Afsar. Certainly, the charmer has never been a mere paying guest in our hearts. He has constantly been a favorite, dashing presence in our lives.
Talking of paying guest, it was such a lovely film of his, co-starring Nuthan, and it had such memorable songs composed by S.D. Burman. Let's hear the first song of this evening from this film.
Son of a leading lawyer of Gurdaspur, Dharam Peshorimal Devanand was a shy and introverted young boy. He started his schooling in a girls' school in Gurdaspur, where the girls bullied him, but were also attracted to the good-looking boy who would run away from them. Dev's solace was his mother, to whom he was very close. So he was heartbroken when he was told that she had been diagnosed with the dreaded tuberculosis, which at that time had no cure. The local Hakim prescribed goat's milk, so Dev would wake up at 4 in the morning to fetch the fresh milk. He would travel by bus from Gurdaspur to Amritsar to fetch her medicines, to try and do everything that might save her life.
A strange incident took place. A Sharbat seller who was known for his psychic powers saw Dev one day and exclaimed, "You have a shining sun on your forehead. One day you will be a great man." But Dev was not interested. His only question was, "Will I be able to save my mother?" But he received no reply. The soothsayer already knew the sad truth that Dev's mother would soon die in a sanatorium.
तुम न जाने For his intermediate, Dev was sent to Dharamsala, where the English principal installed in him proper English and love for mountains and mountain climbing. At home, too, great stress was placed on academics, on reading, and on study of the arts. Dev's father had wonderful oratorial skills and an insatiable appetite for knowledge.
Dev's family was Arya Samaji, tolerant and progressive. His father was well versed in Persian and Arabic and would relish hearing from Dev's lips prayers from diverse faiths, the Gayatri Mantra, the Lord's Prayer, Shabads from the Guru Granth Sahib, and lines from the Quran. We present to you the next song.
Dev was sent to Lahore Government College to do his graduation in English Literature Honours. There, for the first time, he lost his heart to a classmate. And it may seem very surprising in hindsight when we visualize what Devanand's personality was like. But in those days, for him, love was more to do with watching shyly from a distance. And when he finally summed up the courage, it was at the end of their college years. "It's too late now," she replied. "Why didn't you say anything earlier?" But for him, she was always "Khaab ho tum ya koi hakikat."
ख्वाब हो तुम या कोई हकीकत, कौन हो तुम बतलाओ। देर से कितनी दूर खड़ी हो और करीब आ जाओ। सुबह पे जिस तरह शाम का हो गुमा, सुबह पे जिस तरह शाम का हो गुमा, जुल्फों में एक चेहरा, कुछ जाहिर कुछ निहार। ख्वाब हो तुम या कोई हकीकत, कौन हो तुम बतलाओ। हो देर से कितनी दूर खड़ी हो और करीब आ जाओ। सुनी एक सदा पाँव की, धड़कनों में सुनी एक सदा पाँव की, और दिल पे लहराई आंचल की छाँव सी, और दिल पे लहराई आंचल की छाँव सी। ख्वाब हो तुम या कोई हकीकत, कौन हो तुम बतलाओ। हो देर से कितनी दूर खड़ी हो और करीब आ जाओ। मिल ही जाती हो तुम मुझको हर मोड़ पे, मिल ही जाती हो तुम मुझको हर मोड़ पे। चलते भी हो कितने अफसाने छोड़ के, चलते भी हो कितने अफसाने छोड़ के। ख्वाब हो तुम या कोई हकीकत, कौन हो तुम बतलाओ। हो देर से कितनी दूर खड़ी हो और करीब आ जाओ। Thank you.
Dev completed his college and wanted to go to England for further studies, but his father was going through a lean period and could not afford the expense. His father suggested a clerical job in a bank, but Dev revolted. He was intelligent, articulate, and handsome. He wanted to find some outlet for his creative energy. He decided to become an actor And without informing his father, and with only 30 rupees in his pocket and a small bag of belongings, he boarded the third-class bogie of the Frontier Mail from Lahore for Bombay. He was all of 19 years, but he had stars in his eyes.
He was received in Bombay by his elder brother Chetan Anand, who was a teacher in Doon School and was on holiday in Bombay. Initially, Dev stayed at the home of his brother's friends, the novelist Raja Rao, the playwright Khwaja Ahmed Abbas, and he would visit studios and approach people for a breakthrough. And though everyone liked him and encouraged him, he got no work. He had to sell his stamp collection for 30 rupees. By luck, he met Tara, an old friend from Punjab, and spent a few months at the Chawl, where Tara was staying with his brother. But 30 rupees was fast running out. And in a state of desperation, he joined as a clerk in an accountancy firm and was a miserable failure. And then as a clerk at the censor office to censor letters written by Indian and British Army officers. But during the year and a half he worked there, he was miserable, lonely, and desperately missed his mother. कभी खुद पे, कभी हालात पे रोना आया.
कभी खुद पे कभी खुद पे कभी हालात पे रोना आया कभी खुद पे कभी खुद पे कभी हालात पे रोना आया बात निकली तो हर एक बात पे रोना आया बात निकली तो हर एक बात पे रोना हमको समझे थे कि हम भूल गए हैं उनको हमको समझे थे हमको समझे थे कि हम भूल गए हैं उनको क्या हुआ आज ये किस बात पे रोना आया क्या हुआ आज ये किस बात पे रोना आया कभी खुद पे कभी हालात पे रोना किस लिए जीते हैं हम किस
किसी बात पे रोना आया, कभी खुद पे, कभी खुद पे, कभी हालात पे रोना आया। बात निकली तो हर एक बात पे रोना आया, कभी खुद पे।
Dev was lucky that just when he was about to give up all hope, Chetan left his job in Doon School and shifted to Bombay to join the film world. He rented a bungalow in Pali Hill, and Dev also shifted in with him. Someone told him that Prabhat Studios was looking to cast a new face in their film, Hum Ek Hain. The very next day, he almost gate crashed into the office of the head of the studio, Mr. Pai, and confidently told him, I deserve to get this role in your film. Amused and impressed by the daring of the charming and handsome young man, Pai gave him a first-class train ticket on the Deccan Queen and sent him to Pune for an audition.
1 week later, Dev's role in the film was confirmed. He signed a 3-year contract with Prabhat Studios for 400 rupees a month. During the audition, it had been noticed that Dev had a small gap in his teeth. So he was given an artificial filler, but realizing that, in fact, the gap in the tooth added a boyish and unique charm to his smile, the director P. Santoshi ordered that the filler be left out. Dharam also dropped his name in the film world and was now known simply as Dev.
In Pune, he became a close friend of assistant director Guru Dutt, and we all know that story when their common dhobi substituted their shirts, and that's how they became friends. Both the ambitious young men shared a common dream, and so they swore a solemn pledge to each other. When Guru Dutt directed a film, Dev Anand would star in the movie. And if Dev produced a film, Guru Dutt would direct it. Tere mere sapne ab ek rang hain, for both of them.
तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग है, ओ जहाँ भी ले जाए राहें हम संग हैं। ओ तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग है, ओ जहाँ भी ले जाए राहें हम संग हैं। मेरे तेरे दिल का तय था एक दिन मिलना, जैसे बाहर आने पर तह फूल का खिलना। मेरे तेरे दिल का तय था एक दिन मिलना, जैसे बाहर आने पर तह फूल का खिलना। ओ मेरे जीवन साथी, तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग है, ओ जहाँ भी ले जाए राहें हम संग है। तेरे दुख अब मेरे सुख अब तेरे, तेरे ये दो नैना चांद और सूरज मेरे। तेरे दुख अब मेरे सुख अब तेरे, तेरे ये दो नैना चांद और सूरज मेरे। ओ मेरे जीवन साथी, तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग है। ओ जहाँ भी ले जाए राहें हम संग हैं। ओ तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग है।
Hum Ek Hain was released and Dev began to be accepted by the audience. Further popularity came with Ziddi. The film's music director Husnulal Bhagatram asked Lata Mangeshkar to come for a song recording to Bombay Talkies. On the local train, she noticed a familiar-looking young man board the train. They both got off at Malad. She took a tonga and he also took a tonga, and both tongas started off in the same direction. Both tongas stopped outside Bombay Talkies, and as Lata went towards the recording studio, she was alarmed to see that the man was still behind her. She ran into the studio and sought help. Actually, her stalker was none other than Kishore Kumar, who had just come from Khandwa. This was the beginning of a long association between Lata and Kishore's voice later began to be associated with Dev's style. Let's hear a popular duet from Prem Pujari.
शोखियों में घोला जाए फूलों का शबाब, उसमें फिर मिलाई जाए थोड़ी सी शराब। होगा यूं नशा जो तैयार, हाँ होगा यूं नशा जो तैयार, वो प्यार है शोखियों में घोला जाए फूलों का शबाब, उसमें फिर मिलाई जाए थोड़ी सी शराब। होगा यूं नशा जो तैयार, वो प्यार है शोखियों में घोला जाए फूलों का शबाब।
हंसता हुआ बचपन वो महका हुआ मौसम है, छेड़ तो एक शोला है, झूल तो बस शबनम है। हंसता हुआ बचपन वो महका हुआ मौसम है, छेड़ तो एक शोला है, झूल तो बस शबनम है। गाँव में मेले में राह में अकेले में
सोना, अंग से यूं रस छलके, जैसे बजे धुन कोई रात में हल्के हल्के। रंग में पिघले सोना, अंग से यूं रस छलके, जैसे बजे धुन कोई रात में हल्के हल्के। धूप में छाँव में झूमती हवाओं में हरदम करे जो इंतजार, वो प्यार है। शोभियों में घोला जाए फूलों का शबाल, उसमें फिर मिलाई जाए थोड़ी सी शराब।
होगा यूं नशा जो तैयार,
वो प्यार है। शोभियों में घोला जाए फूलों का शबाब।
In 1945, the Second World War ended and the freedom struggle for India's independence intensified. Creative thinkers were waiting to explode. Chetan's house became a hub for leading poets, intellectuals, and artists. He started his first film, Neecha Nagar, which won the Golden Palm at the Cannes Film Festival, but it was not commercially viable, and no Indian distributor bought it. Looking for an avenue to further their creativity, Dev took an advance from his producer, and he and Chetan founded Navketan Films in 1948. Their first venture was Afsar, directed by Chetan, in which Dev was signed opposite Suraiya. She was an established superstar and he was only a newcomer, but they hit it off from the very first day. He coined a pet name for her, Nosy, after her nose, pretty but a little too long, and she lovingly nicknamed him Steve. They became so close that news of their love affair became the talk of the town. And as he drove her around in his first car, a Hillman, they were constantly mobbed by her fans.
Suraiya was the main bread earner of a family, and for them the fear of a marriage was always a looming threat. Moreover, in the case of Dev and Suraiya, there was the huge religious divide. Her grandmother, who dominated the household, absolutely refused to even entertain the thought of a Hindu husband for her Muslim granddaughter. His phone calls began to be monitored. The grandmother would pick up the phone, and even though he could hear Suraiya pleading and crying, she would refuse to hand over the phone, and even threatened to call the police if he continued to. As she said, he continued to, even during shootings, Suraiya was heavily chaperoned, and the two lovers were not given any opportunity to communicate. Suraiya's mother, who was not against Dev, arranged for the two to meet late at night on Suraiya's terrace. Dev proposed to Suraiya, and of course, she readily agreed. The next morning, Dev went to Zaveri Bazaar, bought the costliest ring he could afford, and through a cameraman friend, sent it to Suraiya. But there was an eerie silence from her end. The film's shooting was already over. A desperate Dev managed to find out that not only had Suraiya's family locked her up, they had threatened that if she went against their wishes, she and Dev would be killed. Unable to stand up against them, though she loved Dev, she never married again, and she threw the ring into the sea.
साथी न कोई मंजिल दिया है न कोई महफिल, चला मुझे लेके ये दिल अकेला कहाँ। साथी न कोई मंजिल दिया है न कोई महफिल, चला मुझे लेके ये दिल अकेला कहाँ। साथी न कोई मंजिल। हमदम कोई मिले कहीं, ऐसे नसीब ही नहीं। बेदर्द है ज़मीन दूर आसमां, हमदम कोई मिले कहीं, ऐसे नसीब ही नहीं। बेदर्द है ज़मीन दूर आसमां, साथी न कोई मंजिल दिया है न कोई महफिल, चला मुझे लेके है दिल अकेला कहाँ। साथी न कोई मंजिल। गलियां हैं अपने देश की, फिर भी है जैसे अजनबी। किसको कहे कोई अपना यहाँ। गलियां हैं अपने देश की, फिर भी है जैसे अजनबी। किसको कहे कोई अपना यहाँ। साथी न कोई मंजिल दिया है न कोई महफिल, चला मुझे लेके ये दिल अकेला कहाँ। साथी न कोई मंजिल।
Though Afsar reaffirmed Chetan and Dev's talent, the film flopped miserably. Then Dev remembered the promise he had made to Guru Dutt. He asked him to direct the next Navketan film, Bazi. The leading lady was Mona Singha, fresh from St. Bede's College, Simla, whom Chetan had renamed Kalpana Karthik, and who was soon to become Dev's emotional anchor at this stage of his life when he was broken-hearted over Suraya. Bazi was a great hit, the image of a lovable scoundrel, a tramp on the wrong side of law, but with a heart of gold, endeared Dev to the common man, and the beret cap that he wore became synonymous with his screen personality. Overnight, Guru Dutt became successful, and S.D. Burman and Sahir formed a team that started weaving magic. This was also the film in which Guru Dutt met Geeta Roy at a recording of a song of Bazi, fell in love with her, and thus started what was to be a short and tormented marriage. Does anyone know what that famous song was? Yes, let's hear it from Divya.
तकदीर से बिगड़ी हुई तकदीर बना ले, तकदीर बना ले। अपने पे भरोसा है तो ये दाव लगा ले, लगा ले दाव लगा ले। तदबीर से बिगड़ी हुई तकदीर बना ले, तकदीर बना ले। अपने पे भरोसा है तो ये दाव लगा ले, लगा ले दाव लगा ले। इल्जाम उठा ले, अपने पे भरोसा है तो ये दाव लगा ले, लगा ले दाव लगा ले। किसी और को मिटने से बचा ले, मिटने से बचा ले। अपने पे भरोसा है तो ये दाव लगा ले, लगा ले दाव लगा ले। तदबीर से बिगड़ी हुई तकदीर बना ले, तकदीर बना ले। अपने पे भरोसा है तो ये दाव लगा ले, लगा ले दाव लगा ले।
Then came Jal, another film of Navketan, directed by Guru Dutt, during the making of which not once, but twice, its leading pair almost lost their lives. During the shooting at a seaside fisherman's village in Malwan on the Goa border, K.N. Singh, the character actor, convinced the teetotaler Dev to drink a few glasses of Feni, the very heady drink made locally. Just then, Dev was asked to come and give a shot in which he was to hold Geeta Bali's hand and run into the sea till they were ankle deep. But the inebriated Dev kept running further and further into the sea, dragging Geeta with him. In spite of a frantic Guru Dutt and crew yelling, "That's it, cut, cut!" Suddenly an undercurrent swept Dev and Geeta off their feet and they were about to drown. When luckily a huge wave hit them and propelled them shorewards to safety. As if that narrow escape was not enough, returning from Malwan to Bombay, Dev decided to reach Pune in record time in his new Chevrolet car, and they had a huge accident in which Dev almost died. But the film was a huge hit. Let's hear an all-time hit song from Jal.
ये रात ये चांदनी फिर कहाँ, सुन लगा दिल की आस्था। ये रात ये चांदनी फिर कहाँ, सुन लगा दिल की आस्था। पेड़ों की शाखों पे, पेड़ों की शाखों पे कोई कोई चांदनी, पेड़ों की शाखों पे तेरे ख्यालों में सोई सोई चांदनी। और थोड़ी देर में थक के लौट जाएगी रात ये बहार की, फिर कभी न आएगी। दो एक पल और है ये समा, सुन जा दिल की दास्तां। लहरों के होठों पे, लहरों के होठों पे भीना भीना राग है। लहरों के होठों पे भीगी हवाओं में ठंडी ठंडी आग है। इस हसीन आग में तू भी चल के देख ले, जिंदगी के गीत की धुन बदल के देख ले। खुलने दे अब धड़कनों की जुबान, सुन जा दिल की दास्तां। ये रात ये चांदनी फिर कहाँ, सुन जा दिल की दास्तां। दास्तां दास्तां।
Chetan's next film for Nav Ketan was Aandhiyan, which had music by Ustad Ali Akbar Khan. But it was meant more for a niche audience of critics and connoisseurs and was not a commercial success. It drained Nav Ketan's finances without furthering Dev's image as a popular hero. For the first time, there was a discord between the two brothers, Dev and Chetan. Their younger brother, Vijay Anand, or Goldie as he was called, was roped in. He was studying at St. Xavier's College in Bombay and was active in the college theatre group, and was now given the task of writing his first screenplay. The topic was the life of a taxi driver. Co-starred with Kalpana Karthik, the film was shot on a shoestring budget and completed in just 35 days. And it became a super hit. It is said that there were no taxis available the day the movie was released, because all taxi drivers were given passes to attend the premiere, and in fact the chairman of their association was the chief guest. Let's hear an evergreen song from this movie, Jaएं तो जाएं कहाँ.
जाए तो जाए कहाँ, जाए तो जाए कहाँ, जाए तो जाए कहाँ, समझेगा कौन यहाँ दर्द भरे दिल की जुबान, जाए तो जाए कहाँ। मायूसियों का मजमा है जी में, क्या रह गया है इस जिंदगी में। मायूसियों का, मायूसियों का मजमा है जी में, क्या रह गया है इस जिंदगी में। रूह में गम, दिल में धुआं, जाए तो जाए कहाँ, समझेगा कौन यहाँ दर्द भरे दिल की जुबान, जाए तो जाए कहाँ। उनका भी गम है, अपना भी गम है, अब दिल के बचने की उम्मीद कम है। उनका भी गम है, उनका भी गम है, अपना भी गम है, अब दिल के बचने की उम्मीद कम है। एक कश्ती 100 तूफान, जाए तो जाए कहाँ, समझेगा कौन यहाँ दर्द भरे दिल की जुबान, जाए तो जाए कहाँ।
1954 was an important year for Devanand. During the shooting of Taxi Driver, Dev and Kalpana decided to get married. They wanted no fuss or fanfare and registered themselves for a court marriage. Just 2 weeks later, on the first day, they could marry after the statutory wait for 2 weeks. When there was a small break in the shooting, they slipped out to the registrar's office and got married. Nobody noticed anything except the cameraman, who noticed that she was now wearing a ring which had not been on her hand in the previous shot. Let's hear the song.
तेरा मेरा प्यार अमर, फिर क्यों मुझको लगता है डर। तेरा मेरा प्यार अमर, फिर क्यों मुझको लगता है डर। मेरे जीवन साथी बता, क्यों दिल धड़के
Navketan's next film, directed by Chetan, was Fantoosh, with Dev cast opposite Sheila Ramani. It had one of Dev's favorite songs, which, according to him, was one of the greatest songs that Navketan gave to the world. Remarkable for the simplicity of its lyrics, written by Sahir Ludhianvi, sung soulfully by Kishore Kumar on S.T. Burman's sweet and sad melodious strains. Before we listen to Dukhi Man Mere, I think this team deserves a huge round of applause. S.T. Burman, Sahir Ludhianvi, they really actually created some eternal songs. Let's hear Dukhi Man Mere, Sun Mera Kehna.
दुखी मन मेरे सुन मेरा कहना, जहाँ नहीं चैना वहाँ नहीं रहना। दुखी मन मेरे दर्द हमारा कोई न जाने, अपनी गरज के सब हैं दीवाने। किसके आगे रोना रोए, देश पराया लोग बेगाने। दुखी मन मेरे सुन मेरा कहना, जहाँ नहीं चैना वहाँ नहीं रहना। दुखी मन मेरे लाख यहाँ झोली फैलाने, कुछ नहीं देंगे इस जग वाले। पत्थर के मोम न होंगे, चाहे जितना नीर बहा ले। दुखी मन मेरे सुन मेरा कहना, जहाँ नहीं चैना वहाँ नहीं रहना। दुखी मन मेरे
Though Taxi Driver was a huge commercial success, Chetan was restless to branch out and make the kind of elitist films he preferred. And so he decided to branch off on his own. Goldie was made a partner in Navketan and directed the next film, No Do Gyara. Let's see a clip of this lovely song from the film.
हम है राही प्यार के, हमसे कुछ न बोलिए। हम है राही प्यार के, हमसे कुछ न बोलिए। हम है राही प्यार के, हमसे कुछ न बोलिए। जो भी प्यार से मिला हम उसी के होलिए, हम उसी के होलिए। जो भी प्यार से मिला हम उसी के होलिए।
Navketan's next film was Kala Pani, directed by Raj Khosla. Dev got his first Filmfare Award for this film. Acting the role of a son who swears to wear black, the color of mourning, till his father, imprisoned for a crime he did not commit, is freed. The film gained even more popularity when magazines wrote that the court had given a directive forbidding Dev from wearing a black coat on the grounds that many of his women fans swooned seeing the handsome Dev dressed in black. Now, we don't know whether that's true or not, but Dev continued to play along to humor his fans. Dev's co-star in the movie was the gorgeous Madhubala, who would start giggling uncontrollably at anything and everything. During a take, often the shooting had to wait till she was able to get hold of herself. The grand giggler was perhaps laughing at the world around her that did not know that she had a damaged heart and would die quite young. Let's remember her through this mischievous song in which we see her at her smiling best. Acha ji main hari, chalo maan jao na.
अच्छा जी मैं हारी चलूं मान जाओ ना।
देखी सबकी यारी मेरा दिल जलाओ ना।
अच्छा जी मैं हारी चलूं मान जाओ ना।
देखी सबकी यारी मेरा दिल जलाओ ना।
छोटे से कसूर भी ऐसे हो खफा।
रूठे तो हुजूर थे मेरी क्या पता।
छोटे से कसूर भी ऐसे हो खफा।
रूठे तो हुजूर थे मेरी क्या पता।
देखो दिल न तोड़ो,
अज छोड़ो हाथ छोड़ो।
देखो दिल न तोड़ो,
अज छोड़ो हाथ छोड़ो।
छोड़ दिया तो हाथ मलोगे समझे।
हाँ समझे।
अच्छा जी मैं हारी चलूं मान जाओ ना।
देखी सबकी यारी मेरा दिल जलाओ ना।
जीवन के ये रास्ते लंबे हैं सनम।
काटेंगे ये जिंदगी ठोकर खा के हम।
जीवन के ये रास्ते लंबे हैं सनम।
काटेंगे ये जिंदगी ठोकर खा के हम।
कोई जालिम साथ ले ले,
अजी अच्छे हम अकेले।
जालिम साथ ले ले,
हे अच्छे हम अकेले।
चार कदम भी चल न सकोगे समझे।
हाँ समझे।
अच्छा जी मैं हारी चलूं मान जाओ ना।
देखी सबकी यारी मेरा दिल जलाओ ना।
जाओ रह सकोगे ना तुम भी चैन से।
तुम तो खैर लूटना जीने के मजे।
जाओ रह सकोगे ना तुम भी चैन से।
तुम तो खैर लूटना जीने के मजे।
क्या करना है जी के,
अज हो रहना किसी के।
क्या करना है जी के,
हो रहना किसी के।
हम न रहे तो याद करोगे समझे।
समझे।
अच्छा जी मैं हारी चलूं मान जाओ ना।
देखी सबकी यारी मेरा दिल जलाओ ना।
अच्छा जी मैं हारी चलूं मान जाओ ना।
देखी सबकी यारी मेरा दिल जलाओ ना। थैंक यू।
While shooting for his next movie, Paying Guest, Dev's son Sunil was born in Switzerland. Dev joined them there, and the two went to Karlovy Vary Festival in Prague, carrying the baby in a basket, where the crowds went crazy about the child. As a young lad, Dev had been shy and reserved, especially before ladies. But by now, his confidence and self-esteem often had him flirting unabashedly with every attractive lady he met. And he was so visibly attracted to Elena, an interpreter who Dev had met in his earlier trip to the festival, that Dev and Mona had their first big fight when she saw them flirting and threw a massive fit. Let's hear the next song, which describes the situation.
next film, Kala Bazaar, showed him as a black marketeer. But as he said, he really didn't care if the character had negative shades, as long as the role he played was the central protagonist. And he got his wish in the next film, because in Hum Dono, he played a double role. He patterned the persona of Major Verma after an almost similarly mustachioed major he had known. Hum Dono was India's official entry at the 1962 Berlin Film Festival, which was a huge honor. And also it was a forum for meeting the best cinema personalities in the world. Let's hear one of the most romantic songs from this film, and I think a song which all lovers must have sung for each other, or at least the young man would have. Abhi na jao chhodkar, कि दिल अभी भरा नहीं.
अभी न जाओ छोड़कर के दिल अभी भरा नहीं. अभी न जाओ छोड़कर के दिल अभी भरा नहीं. अभी अभी तो आई हो, अभी अभी तो, अभी अभी तो आई हो, बहार बन के छाई हो. हवा जरा महक तो ले, नजर जरा बहक तो ले. ये शाम ढल तो ले जरा, ये शाम ढल तो ले जरा. ये दिल संभल तो ले जरा. मैं थोड़ी देर जी तो लूं, नशे के घूंट पी तो लूं, नशे के घूंट पी तो लूं. अभी तो कुछ कहा नहीं, अभी तो कुछ सुना नहीं. अभी ना जाओ छोड़ कर के दिल अभी भरा नहीं.
सितारे दिल में ला उठे,
चाह में कई वो काम आएंगे जो हमको आजमाएंगे। पुराना मानो बात का ये प्यार है गिला नहीं।
हाँ यही कहोगे तुम सदा कि दिल अभी भरा नहीं।
हाँ दिल अभी भरा नहीं।
नहीं 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 नहीं।
Do you remember there's another song exactly on the same tune? जहाँ में ऐसा कौन है कि किसको कम मिला नहीं. Lovely compositions, lovely writing by Sahil Ludhianvi.
Dave again met the Polish director Dad Danielewski, whom he had met earlier in Bombay with the Nobel laureate for literature Pearl S. Buck. She was very keen to make a film with the Indo-American collaboration, but the stories they suggested were rejected by Dave because he wanted to have a story befitting his stature in the film industry where he could be the central character. Someone suggested Guide, which he hadn't read, but knew to be written by the reputed author R.K. Narayan. The book and the character of Raju, the guide, excited Dev so much that he flew to USA and signed a contract with her.
Guide was to be an Indo-American co-production to be shot simultaneously in Hindi and English. Pearl was to collaborate on the script and Dev was to act in both the versions. Chetan was to direct the Hindi version and Tad Danielewski, the English director, was to film the scenes common to both versions simultaneously. However, it didn't work out smoothly with two different directors. Frustrated, Dev took a bold decision to shoot the English version first. Chetan decided to abandon the project to make his own film. And the film we all know is Hakikat. But now with this gap, Goldie stepped in. They decided to rewrite the script for the Hindi version to suit Indian ethos and sensibilities. For Dev, the most rewarding award was that he had dared to gamble on a bold subject and come away with so much praise and accolades. Guide was selected as India's official entry in the foreign language category of Oscars. It won all the Filmfare Awards, except, ironically, it didn't win any awards for music. The music which we today acknowledge as being one gem after another. Let's listen to one of those gems. Wahan Kaun Hai Tera?
वहाँ कौन है तेरा मुसाफिर जाएगा कहाँ दम ले ले घड़ी भर ये छैया पाएगा कहाँ वहाँ कौन है तेरा मुसाफिर जाएगा कहाँ दम ले ले दम ले ले दम ले ले घड़ी भर ये छैया पाएगा दिन प्यार के पलछिन सपना बनी वो रातें भूल गए वो तू भी भुला दे प्यार की वो मुलाकातें प्यार की वो मुलाकातें सब दूर अंधेरा सब दूर अंधेरा मुसाफिर जाएगा कहाँ दम ले ले दम ले ले दम ले ले घड़ी भर ये छैया पाएगा कहाँ वहाँ कौन है तेरा कहते हैं ज्ञानी दुनिया है पानी पानी में लिखी लिखाई है सबकी देखी है सबकी जानी हाथ किसी के ना आई हाथ किसी के ना आई कुछ तेरा ना मेरा कुछ तेरा ना मेरा मुसाफिर जाएगा कहाँ दम ले ले दम ले ले दम ले ले घड़ी भर ये छैया पाएगा कहाँ वहाँ कौन है तेरा
Jewel Thief was shot in Sikkim with the support of the Chogyal of Sikkim and the Indian Army stationed there. Shootings would take place during the day and celebrations in the evening with the army or the Chogyal, and the whole kingdom participated in the joy of the filming. It was such a big hit that people remember it even today for the trademark cap that they wore, for a suspense-filled, gripping story, and above all, for its outstanding music. Let's hear a song from this film.
रुला के गया सपना मेरा रुला
Let's go to the other extreme and hear another song from the film. In this song, S.D. Burman told Asha to begin the song as a whisper in her lover's ear and at the last moment, scream into the ear.
बुझ गई आँखें मेरे पास कानों में मेरे जो भी चाहेगा ही जो भी चाहेगा ही रात अकेली है
Dev was growing intellectually and creatively. He wanted to go beyond stardom and take complete control of all aspects of filmmaking, become a complete master of the medium. That opportunity came with Prem Pujari in 1969. As a director, Dev had always picked up subjects which were relevant to the times. The Indo-Pak War of 1965 was the backdrop of the story of an unwilling soldier who has soldiering in his blood, but by temperament is an eternal dreamer who loves life, nature, and beauty. And since he abhors violence, he refuses to pick up the gun and is court-martialed. But later, when his homeland is invaded by the enemy, he willingly picks up arms to fight for the country. Let's see a clip of a very popular song from this film.
भूलों के रंग से दिल की कलम से तुझको लीगी जाती ऐसे बताऊं किस तरह से पल पल मुझे तू सताती तेरे सपने लेकर के सोया तेरी यादों में जागा तेरे ख्यालों अपना लेना होगा जन्म हमें कई बार.
On a visit to Kathmandu, one of the hippie centers of the world at that time, one evening Dev watched the hippie crowd, long-haired with garlands of yellow marigolds, tikkas on forehead, huddled together, smoking chillums. The only dark-skinned person amongst them was a long-haired brown girl. Everyone knew her as Jenny, but on inquiry, Dev discovered that her name was actually just Beer, that her parents were divorced, and that after picking up some money from her mother's bag, she had walked out of her mother's home in Montreal and come to join this hippie group. Dev was so intrigued that he went to Pokhara and wrote the script of Hare Rama, Hare Krishna in 3 days. It was the most modern story of the day. Dev found a new girl at a party, Indian in looks with Western upbringing, someone who would not hesitate to smoke or wear outfits that would accentuate her whimsical, carefree, to hell with the world attitude. That, of course, was Zeenat Aman, the newly crowned Miss Asia, who was later to become a role model for all young college girls. And I remember as a college girl singing this song, which I hope you'll also sing with us, Dam Maro Dam.
मिट जाएगा और वो सुबह शाम हरे कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा हरे राम मरदम मिट जाएगा और वो सुबह शाम हरे कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा हरे राम तू तुर तुर तुत तू
They've made Hira Panna and cast Zeenat Aman as the heroine. And then Ishq, Ishq, Ishq. Zeenat and Dev started being linked with each other. He started feeling jealous and possessive about her and could not bear to be separated from her. At the premiere of Ishq, 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 Raj Kapoor kissed Zeenat in full view of the audience. Dev felt jealous to see an advance being made on what he considered his sole possession. His discovery had made him madly in love. He decided to propose to her. They were scheduled to first attend a party, and then Dev planned to bring Zeenat to Taj Hotel to propose to her. The first person to greet Zeenat at that party was a drunken Raj Kapoor, whose behavior was too familiar, and Zeenat's response appeared to be more intimate than courtesy demanded. Dev got suspicious. Rumors had been circulating that Zeenat had gone to Raj Kapoor for a screen test for Satyam Shivam Sundaram, and at last Dev realized that he'd been made a fool. Broken-hearted, he sneaked out of the party, totally demoralized. But Dev was never one to look back on regrets and past events. He quickly detached himself emotionally. Over to the next song.
किया दिल ने कहा हो तुम, झूमती बहार है कहाँ हो तुम।
प्यार से पुकार लो जहाँ हो तुम, प्यार से पुकार लो जहाँ हो तुम।
याद किया दिल ने कहा हो तुम, झूमती बहार है कहाँ हो तुम।
प्यार से पुकार लो जहाँ हो तुम, प्यार से पुकार लो जहाँ हो तुम।
खो रहे हो आज किस ख्याल में,
दिल फंसा है बेबसी के जाल में।
झूमती बहार है कहाँ हो तुम।
प्यार से पुकार लो जहाँ हो तुम, प्यार से पुकार लो जहाँ हो तुम।
While shooting for Janeman, Tina Muneem was one of the spectators and had asked Dev for an autograph. Dev's mind went back to the script he had written for Des Pardes, and something clicked. He invited her for a screen test, which she passed. And Dev continued to make films year after year with unquenched energy and enthusiasm. Unfortunately, some of his later films didn't really make any mark at the box office. But this paragon of zest and dynamism didn't let himself be pulled down by anything negative or slow. He was a Karam yogi who believed in following his dreams. You are dead the moment you stop dreaming, he said.
He symbolized youthful energy, optimism, and a desire to live life to its fullest. He spent his 88 years to the hilt, dying with his boots on, active both physically and creatively till his last breath. He lived a life that was full, traveled each and every highway, but much, much more than that. He did it his way.
Let's end our tribute to the dashing, debonair, handsome style icon whose distinctive dialogue delivery, his fashionable clothes, his swagger and crooked smile set hearts beating then and continue to have them beating now. He ruled cinema for 65 years. His death on 3rd December 2011 in London came as a shock to his fans who thought this never-ending piece of energy would go on and on forever. So let's end the evening with a song which best defined Dev's philosophy of life. The LUTFF group will sing this together, and please join us because I'm sure you remember the lyrics. मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया.
जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया, फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया, फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ा बर्बादियों का शोक मनाना फिजूल था, बर्बादियों का शोक मनाना फिजूल था, मनाना फिजूल था, मनाना फिजूल था। बर्बादियों का जश्न मनाता चला गया, बर्बादियों का जश्न मनाता चला गया, फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया। महसूस हो जहां गम और खुशी में फर्क न महसूस हो जहां न महसूस हो जहां न महसूस हो जहां मैं जिंदगी उस मकाम पे लाता चला गया मैं दिल को उस मुकाम पे लाता चला गया मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being such a wonderful audience. And this show wouldn't have been possible without the musical, creative, and technical staff that we have. So I'd like to name all of them. Fanish Pawar, our music director, there he is. Big hand for him. Manoj Sharma, our sound man. Neeraj Sharma sitting there, who did all the clips here. And of course, our lovely band. Mr. Shami Rajput here on the guitar, Mr. Dushyant Kumar on the keyboard, Sonu Verma on the octopad, and Dilip Chandar on the tabla and dholak. And I also thank CSOI for giving us this opportunity to present this show, and I hope we can do it again. I hope it's been worth your while to have spent 2 hours here. On a Saturday evening. Thank you. It was a pleasure actually to perform here, and we hope to see you again very, very soon.